Hello everybody, Board Game Lawyer here. It is a Friday evening and I'm going to play some Marvel Champions from Fantasy Flight Games. So let's get down to the table and see what we're going to be doing this evening. So Nightcrawler is the latest hero from Marvel Champions that has been released out into the wild, and I thought I would play with some Nightcrawler Precon deck this evening. And as always, I typically take Nightcrawler up against the first villain in the entire series, and that is Rhino. So just test him out, test his Precon deck out, see how it does against Rhino. I have played with several games with Nightcrawler already, and so I do know how his Precon deck works, but I thought I would just test it out against the Rhino this evening. Let's take a look at the Rhino's main scheme. So we're going to be using Rhino 1 and 2, just standard Rhino this evening, and the standard encounter set, one modular encounter set. The recommended one is Bomb Scare, but there is a modular set that comes with Nightcrawler, and that is the Crazy Gang. And so I took out Bomb Scare, and I shuffled in the Crazy Gang today. So let's see what happens with that. And it looks like a fun modular set. So that's everything for side 1A. It says advance to side 1B. So we're going to flip over to the break-in, and it says if this stage is completed, the players lose the game. That's how it works. And so that's all it is for Rhino. He has a scheme of 1, attack of 2. He's a brute criminal. I'm Rhino. I knock things down. That's what I do. That's who I am. Let's take a look at the hero of Nightcrawler. So he has a thwart of 2, an attack of 1, a defense of 3. And let's see here.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Oh, better mute my phone here. There we go. Excellent. All right, and let's take a look at my stream to make sure everything's running. There we go. All right, anybody out there? Let's see. Nope, not so far. Okay, so Nightcrawler, we've talked about his stats. He's an X-Men. He has rapid teleportation, which is an action. Spend 1 resource of any type. Return a copy of BAMF from your discard pile to your hand, and you can do this a limit of once per phase. All right, and then he starts in his alter ego form. So let's flip over and see what Kurt Wagner is all about. He has a recovery of 3 in alter ego. He's a mutant. He has an action. And it says to search your deck for a copy of BAMF and add it to your hand. You can do this a limit of once per round. All right, now we need to deal ourselves our hand. I'll go ahead and shuffle my deck and deal myself. Let's see, we get 6 cards. So there's 1 under control, which is attached to a minion. There are no minions. Next card is a strength card. We have Riposte, Tally Ho, Come Get Me Bub, and Scout Ahead. So threat removal, which there's none. Come Get Me Bud says discard cards from your encounter deck until you discard a minion, put that minion into play, engage with you. Heal 3 damage from your identity and give your identity a tough status card. So I could get a tough status card, but it might just be better to just mulligan for something else. Another defense card, Tally Ho. Another defense card, Riposte. Another upgrade that attaches to some. A lot of these cards are not ones that I necessarily need here at the beginning of the game, so I'm going to discard 5 of them. I'm going to keep strength, which, double resource, always good, unless you get a mitt full of them. Let's go ahead and draw 5 cards to replace the ones in the mulligan. And so what we get? We got BAMF. We got Under Control. Powerful Punch, which is an attack and defense. When an enemy initiates an attack, deal 4 damage to that enemy. Riposte. When your hero defends against an attack, it gets +2 for the attack. If no damage from this attack, deal 3 damage to the attacking enemy. So that's good. Important Punch says deal 3 damage to an enemy, 3 damage to each enemy with BAMF attached. So, yeah, I think that's what we're going to do, is we're going to probably keep some of these defensive cards. Probably use Under Control to pay for things. Probably discard Under Control. I am going to go ahead and look for that Bamf? Am I going to look for Bamf in my alter ego form? Excellent question, right? Yeah, I'll go ahead and look for the Bamf. Look at all cards. There's one. I'll bring it into my hand since that's my action that I can do. Close and shuffle. Because I want to have one probably for my next turn too. So we'll go ahead and put... Well, let's flip over to our hero side first. Flip. We're going to put Bamf onto Rhino. So we'll attach that to him. And Bamf says it's a hero interrupt. When an attached enemy attacks, discard this card. Declare Nightcrawler as a defender without exhausting him. Alright, so now that he has Bamf attached, we can use our Port and Punch. Deal 3 damage to an enemy. Deal 3 damage to each enemy with Bamf attached. And I'll probably spend... I'm going to keep Riposte. I'm going to keep Powerful Punch. Under Control and Bamf might be options. Yeah, I think I'll keep my Strength card to pay for the Powerful Punch. So I'll use Bamf. And I'll use Under Control to pay for that Port and Punch. So we're going to deal 3 damage to the Rhino, taking him down to 11. And then we're going to deal 3 damage to each enemy with Bamf attached. 1, 2, 3. So that's 6 damage in the Rhino. Discard that. And then Nightcrawler is going to attack Rhino for 1 more. And that will end my phase. I'm going to advance the phase. I get to draw 2 cards. So I got Port Away, which is discard a copy of Bamf from your hand, change forms and ready. And I got another double resource, which is Energy. So we'll place 1 threat on the main scheme. Rhino is going to attack. I'm going to declare myself. So we're going to do the Hero Interrupt defense. When an attached enemy attacks, discard this card. Declare Nightcrawler as a defender without exhausting him. So I'm defending for 3. But then if I pay for... But first I'm going to do the Powerful Punch. So... When an enemy initiates attack, deal 4 damage to the enemy. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops, wrong direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that right? So I hit him for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11 off of 14 takes him down to 3. So that is the Powerful Punch. So we'll discard that. And Bamf, of course, gets discarded. I'm going to set it over here for now just to remind us that we played it. And then I also have Riposte that says when your hero defends against an attack, it gets +2 for the attack. If you take no damage from the attack, deal 3 damage to the attacking enemy. So we will pay for a Riposte, and we're going to use... I'll use Energy to pay for the Riposte because I want to keep a hold of that Port Away. So, Rhino is going to hit us for 2, plus this card is 2, so he hits us for 4, but I have a defense of 3 plus 2 is 5, so I take no damage. So the Riposte card says if you take no damage to the attack, deal 3 damage to the attacking enemy. Wow. So we knock Rhino all the way down to 0. Riposte goes away. Bamf goes away. And then Rhino's defeated. So we're going to discard first stage 1 of Rhino. We're going to bring out stage 2 of Rhino. Unfortunately, Breaking and Taken also pops out, meaning that now I'm going to have to deal myself 2 encounter cards because I knocked Rhino all the way down to 0. So here's the first encounter card. I'll set it over here. Second encounter card is over here. Again, Breaking and Taken says when revealed, place 1 additional threat here, and then so it has a hazard icon on it. So our first card is I'm Tough. It says give Rhino a tough status card. If he already has a tough status card, this card gains Surge. So we're going to add a Tough to Rhino. Discard I'm Tough. And then our second encounter card is a Hydra Mercenary who is a guard. It says while this minion is engaged with you, you cannot attack the villain. Okay. Alright, so we have Port Away. It says discard a copy of Bamf from your hand, change forms, and ready your identity. So I don't have a copy of Bamf in my hand, but I could remove 2 threat from Breaking and Taken, and then I'm going to flip over to my alter ego side, So I never did advance the phase. But anyway, so I'm going to flip over to my alter ego side. Now it says I can search my deck for a copy of BAMF and add it to your hand, limit once per round. So let's take a look at my deck. All cards. And I think there should be another BAMF in here, unless I discarded it. There it is. So bring it into my hand. Close and shuffle the deck. Now I've got poured away where it says discard a copy of BAMF from your hand. This is an action that you can do it in alter ego form. Change forms and ready your identity. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change forms. Flip over to my hero side again. Ready my identity, and I'm going to exhaust Nightcrawler to remove Break-In and Take-In completely now. So we only get dealt 1 encounter card instead of 2. On Rhino's turn, so we'll discard that, Break-In and Take-In. And unfortunately, that's all I can do on my turn. So we'll advance the phase, turn things over to Rhino. Let's see what we got in our hand. We got Change of Fortune, which is an upgrade. I'd have to play that on my turn. Day Tripper, North Star. These are all cards to play on my turn. An Astonishing X-Men, Player Side Scheme, Moria McTaggart. All right, no defense cards, unfortunately. So we're going to place 1 threat on the break-in. Rhino's going to attack Nightcrawler. I'm going to go ahead and defend that attack because he's hitting me for 3 plus a boost. And so he's going to hit me for 0. So good. It's good. Always good to see that advance go away. Discard that. And then Hydra Mercenary is going to attack me for 1, so he's going to hit me for 1. Encounter card is Executioner. It says when revealed, Executioner attacks a friendly character with the fewest remaining hit points. If this attack defeats an ally, remove that ally from the game. So this is a minion, another minion that comes out. Executioner attacks the friendly character with the fewest remaining hit points. Well, the only friendly character that's on the table is Nightcrawler, so he's going to get hit for 2. And I have no allies on the table, so very good. Okay, so now we've got 2 allies out on the table. Rhino's tough. We've got 2 threat on the break-in. I am exhausted. I do have Day Tripper. I'm going to bring Day Tripper out, I believe. I think before I bring Day Tripper out, though, I am going to exchange a card in my hand, and that's going to be Moria McTaggart for a BAMF in my discard pile. So that top BAMF, I'll just bring that into my hand, put Moria McTaggart in the discard pile. Now I'm going to put, let's see, yeah, I'm going to put BAMF onto Rhino or onto Executioner. I will put it onto Rhino because that will knock the tough off when Day Tripper comes out. Okay, so then we're going to do that. We're going to spend North Star, and we're going to spend Astonishing X-Men to put out Day Tripper. Day Tripper says, after Day Tripper enters play, search your deck and discard pile for a copy of BAMF. Attach it to an enemy. Deal 1 damage to each enemy with a copy of BAMF attached. So yeah, we're going to go look in our discard pile because that's where all 3 of my BAMF cards are right now. There's 3 cards. So we're going to put it on the Hydra Mercenary. He's a guard. We're going to close the discard pile out. So Hydra Mercenary is going to take a damage. And Rhino's going to lose his tough card because he's going to take 1 damage because he's got that BAMF attached. So it's not an attack. It just deal 1 damage to each enemy with a copy of BAMF attached. All right, and then we can use Day Tripper to knock out the Hydra Mercenary. So he's gone. BAMF is gone. I already did my action. Executioner schemes for 0 and Rhino schemes for 1. So this may be a terrible idea, but I am going to flip down into my alter ego form. I do need to place 1 damage onto Day Tripper for taking that action. And Change of Fortune, I am going to discard that, advance the phase, and turn things back over to Rhino. Okay, so I got Rogue, I got Power Protection, Change of Fortune, Genius, Come Get Me Bub, and Powerful Punch. All right, we're going to place one threat on the break-in. Rhino is going to scheme. He's going to scheme for 1 plus 0, so he's going to scheme for 1 more. Discard I'm Tough, and an Executioner is going to scheme for 0. Okay, let's move Execution over, and let's move the Bamf over here. All right, and here's the encounter card. The encounter card is Queen of Hearts. It says, when revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for the Crazy Gang side scheme and reveal it. If it's already in play, do yourself a face-down encounter card. So we got Queen of Hearts out on the table. She schemes for 0, attack of 1. She has 4 health. And I got to go find the Crazy Gang side scheme and put it into play. So let's see what that's all about. All cards. Crazy Gang, where we at, Crazy Gang? So we're first looking at our deck. I don't see it in there. Oh, that's in my deck. I don't know why I looked at my deck. I gotta look in the encounter deck. Look at all cards in the encounter deck. Yeah, you're more likely to find an encounter card in the encounter deck. Close and shuffle. So the Crazy Gang comes out. Ooh, it's got an acceleration. Token says, after a non-elite minion schemes against a player, deal that minion to that player as a face-down encounter card. After a non-elite minion schemes against a player, deal that minion to that player as a face-down encounter card. Then if there are more than one player in the game, pass that face-down encounter card to the next player. Comes out with 2 thread on it. Alright, let me see what I got dealt. I got Rogue. Deal 1 damage to a friendly character until the end of the round. Rogue gains each of that character's traits and adds that character's printed thwart and attack to her matching power limit once per round. Change of Fortune. Come Get Me Bub. Discard cards from encounter deck until you discard a minion. Put that minion in play, engage with you. Heal 3 damage from your identity. Give your identity a tough status card. Powerful Punch. An enemy initiates attack, deal 4 damage against that enemy. So that would be a way to knock out the Executioner or the Queen of Hearts with that Powerful Punch. So I think I want to keep that. Alright. Come Get Me Bub. Heals 3 damage. That would put me back up to full strength and give me a tough status card. But it would also stick another crazy minion out there on the table. Not sure I want to do that. I can't use Kurt Wagner's action. There's only 3 Bamfs, and I think they're all in the discard pile right now. You have to search the deck. So 1, 2. Let's see. 1, 2. Where's the other Bamf? Maybe there is a Bamf. Have I only been cycling 2 of these Bamf cards? Let me look at my deck and see if there is a Bamf there. Where is it? Close and shuffle. Let me just look again. Maybe I didn't look at all the cards. There's a Bamf missing. Where's the Bamf at? It's on him. Right, it's on Rhino. Okay, that's where my 3rd Bamf is. Forgot I got one on Rhino. So if I want to go find a Bamf card, I'm going to have to flip and then change out one of these guys. So after you defeat an enemy during the villain phase, draw 2 cards. That might be good to keep around. I don't know that I'm going to use Rogue. Maybe Rogue. I discard Rogue. Look at all cards. Find a Bamf. Here's a Bamf. Close and shuffle. No, we don't close and shuffle. We just close it. If I put the Bamf onto... Day Tripper's going to knock out the Crazy Gang. I don't like that out there. So she's gone. Nightcrawler is going to... Well, hang on to those 2. Come Get Me Bub gives me a tough status card. A lot to think about here. I'm going to put Bamf on the Executioner. Hang on to Powerful Punch. Change of Fortune's coming out onto the table. I'm going to spend Come Get Me Bub to put out Change of Fortune. And then rather than attack with Nightcrawler, since I have a thwart of 2, I'm going to take 2 threat off of the break-in in case I need to flip down. So I do have Change of Fortune on the table. It says, after you defeat an enemy during the villain phase, exhaust this card and draw 2 cards. Alright, so we will advance the phase. Turn things over to Rhino. What do we get? We got Port and Punch, which is an attack. Deal 3 damage to an enemy, 3 damage to each enemy with a Bamf attached. I got Tally Ho. It says, after Bamf makes Nightcrawler the defender of an attack, return that copy of Bamf to your hand. Deal 3 damage to the attacking enemy. I like that. Cool. Alright, so we're going to place 1 threat on the break-in. Rhino is going to attack Nightcrawler. We are going to do the Bamf, so I don't have to exhaust, so I will defend for 3. He's going to attack for 3, plus a card. And the question is do I want to play Tally Ho? And I think I do. After Bamf makes Nightcrawler the defender of an attack, return a copy of Bamf to your hand. Deal 3 damage to the attacking enemy. So we're going to spend Port and Punch to return Bamf to my hand and deal 3 damage to the attacking enemy. So Rhino's going to go down to, 1, 2, 3, down to 12. Discard Tally Ho. And then Rhino is going to deal his boost, which is 0. So I don't take any damage. And I got that Bamf in my hand. So that was good. Executioner, same thing. We're going to discard Bamf. So Executioner is not going to do any damage to Nightcrawler. And then Queen of Hearts is going to attack Nightcrawler. And we are going to spend 2 to play the Powerful Punch. It says when an enemy initiates attack, deal 4 damage to the enemy. So we're going to deal 4 damage to Queen of Hearts, discarding her. Powerful Punch goes away. And then Change of Heart says, after you defeat an enemy during the villain phase, exhaust this card and draw 2 cards. So I get to draw Kurt's Cutlass, and I get to draw Riposte. Okay, so the Executioner's still out, Rhino's out. Change of Fortune is exhausted. Rhino is going to deal an encounter card, and it says, when revealed, Hero, Rhino attacks you. If a character is damaged by this attack, that character is stunned. Now I got Riposte. And it says when your hero defends against an attack, it gets +2 for that. +2 defense for that attack. If you take no damage to the attack, deal 3 damage to the attacking enemy. So I'm going to spend Bamf to play the Riposte. It says, and we are defending this attack. So discard. The card dealt is off with his head, which is 1 boost. So he's going to attack me for 4. I'm sitting at 5. Discard Bamf, because that's what I spent for Riposte. I'm going to deal 3 damage to the attacking enemy. So Rhino gets hit for 3, taking him down to 9. And that's the end of Rhino's turn. So we'll advance the phase, turn things back over to Nightcrawler. I can spend 2 to put out Kurt's Cutlass. So now Nightcrawler gets +1 attack, +1 defense, and gains Retaliate. So we have to discard the 2 for that. I can't remove any threat off of the break-in because I'm exhausted. Can't do anything about the Executioner right now. And Rhino, can't do anything about that either. So I'm just going to advance the phase. I don't want to take a chance flipping down and then him getting an advance and finishing the game off. So I do have Powerful Punch, which is great. Change of Fortune, Gambit, Scout Ahead, remove 3 threat from a scheme, Under Control. These are all good. So we're going to place one threat on the break-in. Rhino's going to attack us, and we are going to defend the attack. And I don't have anything to really defend with for him that I necessarily want to use right now. So yeah, let me fix my screen here. Okay, so Rhino's going to attack Nightcrawler, and he's going to hit him for he's going to hit him. He draws a 0, so discard. So he doesn't do any damage to me because my defense is 3 and his attack was 3. But I do have retaliate, so we're going to hit Rhino for 1, knocking him down to 8. Now then, we've got Executioner attacking us, and we're going to play the Powerful Punch. And it says, when an enemy initiates an attack, deal 4 damage to the enemy. I need to spend 2 for that. So we're gonna spend Change of Fortune, and we're going to spend Gambit to pay for that Powerful Punch. We're going to deal 4 damage to the Executioner, which is going to defeat him. Discard Powerful Punch. And then we get to exhaust Change of Fortune to draw 2 cards. So we got Power of Protection, and we got Kurt's Chapel. Again, we could scout ahead to remove threat and flip down, which is what I think I'm going to do. So let's advance the let's see. That was just he still needs to deal an encounter card. So before I get too out of control. Okay, so there's a problem. Crowd control. That is a problem. Crowd control. It says remove 3 copy from a scheme. You may discard a copy of BAMF from your hand to remove 3 threat from another scheme. So that's good. All right, so I'm going to spend Under Control. Let's see, how are we going to do this? Under Control. I do want to scout ahead, but I definitely need to go find. So yeah, how about if I use, I like to have Kurt's Chapel. I'm not going to be able to use Power of Protection for anything. So I'm going to swap Power of Protection for a BAMF card in my discard pile. Look at all cards. Here's a BAMF. Close it out. Then we're going to play Scout Ahead. Remove 3 threat from a scheme. We're going to pay for that with Under Control. So we're going to take 2 threat off of Crowd Control, and it's going to be discarded. And then we're going to discard a copy of BAMF from your hand, remove 3 threat from another scheme. So we're going to discard BAMF to remove 3 threat from the break-in. Discard all of this. And then we're going to flip over to the Kurt Wagner side. Search your deck for a copy of BAMF. Add it to your hand limit once per round. We know it's not in my deck. I've only got 3 cards left in my deck, and so that's all I'm going to be able to do. Advance the phase, turn things back over to Rhino. I should drop 6 cards. I am going to deck myself, so I'm going to have to deal an encounter card. I'll set it over here for now. That's the first encounter card I'll deal with this turn. What do we get? We got Kurt's Chapel. We got the Teleport, Drop, Come Get Me Bub, Prehensile Tail, Tally Ho, and Port Away. Not bad. Not a bad hand. So we're going to put 1 threat on the main scheme. Rhino is going to scheme for 1 plus 2. So 1, 2, 3. So it's up to 5. Discard. And here's my second encounter card. My first encounter card is Shadow of the Past. Ooh. Reveal your set-aside Nemesis minion, put it into play, engage with you. Reveal your set-aside side scheme, put it into play, shuffle the rest into the encounter deck. So here's our Nemesis minion. It's Azel. He has Quick Strike. I'm in Alter Ego form. And it says Azel cannot have upgrades attached. So there is my Nemesis minion. Next card is going to be my side scheme, Brimstone Dimension. When defeated, the player who defeated the scheme finds Azel and deals him to themselves as a face-down encounter card. Okay. And then the 3 other cards that go into the encounter deck are the sword, the strike, and another strike. And these will get shuffled into the encounter deck. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. So now Azel is out on the table. Shadow of the Past is discarded. And he's got his scheme out there. Wow. It's looking bad. I do have a teleport drop. I love it. Okay. And then the next card is, let's see what this is. And it is a Jester. It says, when revealed, you are confused. If you're already confused, discard a sport you control. So Kurt Wagner is going to be confused. All right. And we have a Jester out on the table now. All right. The Jester does not have guard. And Azel does not have guard. So that's going to end Rhino's turn. We'll advance the phase. Brimstone doesn't give anyone guard, so I can go straight up into Rhino now. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and search my deck first for a copy of Bamf and add it to my hand. So look at all cards. We can do that now that we decked ourselves. Close and shuffle. We're going to flip over to the Nightcrawler side. We are going to put Bamf onto Rhino. And then we are going to spend 2 resources to teleport drop. Discard a copy of Bamf from an enemy. Deal 8 damage to that enemy and stun it. So we'll spend Port Away. And we'll spend Tally Ho to do the teleport drop. We're going to discard Bamf. And we're going to do 8 damage to Rhino and stun him. But 8 damage to Rhino takes Rhino all the way down to nothing. And so Nightcrawler, Rhino was building a board state there, but the teleport drop came out at the right time. I was able to find a Bamf, and we were able to take down Rhino immediately after a Shadow of the Past came out, which Azel is pretty powerful, right? I mean, if he pops out at a certain time, he could do a tremendous amount of damage to us. So anyway, we'll call that a win. Unless, of course, you notice that during my gameplay that I did something incorrect and that I cheated. In which case, I'll take the loss if I cheated. But looks like we had kind of a straightforward game. Nightcrawler against Rhino. It was pretty fun. I enjoy playing with the Precon decks. They're very thoughtfully made, and it's nice to be able to have designers put together little kits that just are good standalone, but then they add so much to the collection. So Marvel Champions from Fantasy Flight Games, recommend it. Thanks for watching today. I am the Board Game Lawyer. You can catch me here on Twitch from time to time. You can catch me over on YouTube. I generally upload videos that I play on Twitch to YouTube. You can catch me there as well. Take care, everybody, and have a wonderful evening.